Officially the caretaker Prime Minister of Thailand. Sporting the colours of his Democrat Party, Abhisit Wetchatjiwa is in election mode. He says the upcoming vote will be very close, but he believes he's done enough to earn another term.
We move things ahead. Regrettably, there have been some incidents that led to losses, but we upheld the constitution, democracy, and now I've returned power to the people.
That power was taken away by the army in 2006, when then Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was removed from office in a coup. He was subsequently found guilty of corruption and an abuse of power. His supporters were involved in violent confrontations with the army last year, in which 91 people were killed. Investigations into the violence have provided few answers, and the Prime Minister admits the process has been too slow.
We have a number of independent commissions now working on recommendations, including, of course, finding out what exactly happened.
But those groups, those panels have come up with nothing. The DSI has come up with
well, not
nothing.
yet. Not yet. I think they've made some conclusions. They've reached some conclusions, but not all, and they need to work harder.
Abhisit Wetchatjiwa also believes an amnesty plan by Thaksin's party is dangerous and could result in more conflict. If it wins the election, Pheu Thai will propose to grant amnesty for all political offenders since the coup, including Thaksin.
If there are genuinely political offences, then I would be for it. But arson, corruption, and violence, they're not necessarily political offences. I think you have to make a distinction.
The opposition candidate to become Prime Minister is Thaksin's sister, Yingluck Shinawatra. Most polls show her party is ahead. Whichever way the result goes, more street protests are likely to follow, creating more political upheaval.
Would you be willing to work with the opposition Pheu Thai party in a coalition government?
Only if they agree to some key principles, which is upholding good governance, the rule of law, and I'm afraid they have to agree to my policies of income guarantee for farmers and other programs.
The Prime Minister acknowledged his party has held talks with Pheu Thai, but the political divide remains, and it's unlikely the two sides will come to an agreement anytime soon. Wayne Hay, Aljazeera, Bangkok.
He became the first Thai Prime Minister to serve a full term in office and win a second. He continues to have a lot of support in many rural areas of Thailand, particularly in the northeast, where his healthcare programs for the poor and assistance for farmers were especially popular. But in 2006, facing increasing scrutiny over financial dealings, the billionaire was ousted in a military coup while he was in the United States. Thaksin eventually returned to Thailand, but fled again in 2008 to avoid a 2-year jail term for corruption. His supporters regularly campaigned to bring him back, and in one of Thailand's darkest periods, more than 90 people were killed last year in clashes between protesters and the army. This year, the current Prime Minister and leader of the Democrat Party, Abhisit Wetchatjiwa, called an early election to be held in July. It provides an opportunity for Thaksin's Pheu Thai party, which is now led by his youngest sister, Yingluck Shinawatra, to retake control of the country. But Thaksin remains, for now, far away in Dubai, where he's living in self-imposed exile, and that's where we caught up with him.
Well, Thaksin Shinawatra, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Your country, Thailand, is very much in election mode right now, an election that is almost all about you, which is a bit strange, really, considering you're not even there, you're here in Dubai. So how on earth did your country and you get to this point?
Well, because of the coup d'etat that happened in 2006, it's against the will of the people. Because normally the coup d'etat that happened in Thailand is coup d'etat against unpopular government. But the coup d'etat that took place in Thailand in 2006 against the government that is still very popular and did a lot of good things for the people. So that's the reason why the people are not happy. And Thailand are peaceful. During right after the coup d'etat, you may look that's peaceful, but actually the discontent or dissatisfaction of the people is there.
We'll talk a little bit more about the coup and the election in a moment, but I'm interested in life for you here in Dubai. How has it been over the last few years? It must have been a fairly lonely existence for you.
Oh yes, definitely. I miss my home. I miss my country, miss my people, miss my family. So in the first year, it's very tough year for me. I feel very, very depressed. But second year, I can adapt myself a little bit, and then I went back home shortly and for 5 months. And after that, I'm get used to, and I adapt myself. And I'm hyperactive people. I don't want to just sit idle and do nothing. So I find something to do to kill times and then to be most constructive to my life.
I've heard you say many times how you have adapted yourself, like you say, to life overseas. You've made friends, you've made business acquaintances, but surely you would like nothing more than be able to return back to Thailand. A free man.
The important thing is that I've been arranged unfairly, so I want my reputation back. I want to help the people that who've been suffer after the coup d'etat. People been suffer for 5 years, and nobody cared them. And I think that it's time that the people had to express their will that this is what they want, and then how they want their country to be in the future.
Let's look back at the coup and what happened in the years after. You were found guilty of corruption and an abuse of power. But you say that those offences, those charges, those convictions were politically motivated. Why? Who wanted you out so badly in Thailand?
After military coup, they set up a committee consists of all my political opponents, and they arrest me, and they use the process. They do it without due process of law. They don't observe the rule of law. They just try arrange and use whatever attacked by the Democrat, they bring that to become my offenses.
One of the key words, perhaps the key word of this election, this current election campaign, is reconciliation, trying to get the people of Thailand together, to reconcile the differences. Why don't you, for the sake of reconciliation, admit some wrongdoing while you were Prime Minister? Say sorry, and then perhaps the country might be able to move on.
I can say sorry. There's nobody perfect. When you lose the country for 6 years, you might create something that is not satisfactory to different sectors of the people. But democracy, what it's all about in democracy is the majority. Every time we have election, we win more and more majorities. And the last election, we won 377 before we been ousted by coup d'etat. That is 76% of the member parliaments. And when I did maybe I gave some interview. I said that I may use, especially the case on the southern part of Thailand, I may use more iron fist than velvet glove. I said that if I were to go back, I will use more velvet glove, less iron fist. That is what I've been expressed in several interviews.
Sure, but the charges and the reason the coup took place was essentially because of corruption. But are you therefore acknowledging, I want to take you back to something you just said, are you acknowledging that there was some wrongdoing by you and your government while you were in power?
I don't think I did anything wrong, but maybe some officials, some ministers, which I don't know. Because, a lot of work, things going on, move very fast in Thailand during my time. And how can I may not look back enough. That is my fault. I not look back enough to go in details in so many things. But I trying to push the country ahead. But to me, they arrest me of corrupt. But the allegation is about corrupting my own money. Not the, if you corrupt, you have to take the money from state coffers. But this is, they took away my money.
But they allege that you changed laws to benefit the telecommunications industry because you owned ShinCorp.
No, I don't think I did that because of that. Because of the WTO. The WTO require us to open up the telecommunication.